Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Beef Reacts. Today is a video called Death Battle Wanted Asta to Lose. Now, a while ago, I had watched the, what the hell is his name? Deku vs. Asta Death Battle, and I really thought that Deku had it. And then Asta just went way off, but I've been seeing a lot of YouTube shorts, I've been seeing a lot of different stuff about Asta, and apparently, I don't think they released any more episodes, but I was up to like episode 170 something of Black Clover. So like I'm caught up in the anime. Not caught up in the manga at all. So I have no idea, but apparently he goes off. He's on X Games mode. Is that what it's called? Do kids still say X Games mode? I still say X Games mode. No, I don't, but I like to pretend like I do because I think I'm cool and I'm still 17, but I'm not. So let's jump into it.
Old. They could like Superman Death Battle.
Wait a minute.
I remember the first time I watched Death Battle.
Same.
It was, of course, the very first Goku vs. Superman Death Battle.
Which was some shenanigans.
That is now a staggering 9 years old. That could likely reach 50 million views in the near future.
Yeah, probably.
At the time, I enjoyed power scaling without even knowing it was called that. But I didn't understand what it was to the rest of the world. There was a large power scaling community that existed. Because prior to Death Battle, I really only talked with friends about power scaling, watched a random YouTube video here or there that had only a few views, or I read through message boards of other people discussing such topics. I had no idea that people were discussing out there, making calculations of such feats, how much tonnage of TNT.
Thank you for the tonnage of TNT. What the, I like to know that I'm not the only one who complains about the TNT thing. Alright? No offense, I just don't get it.
Or joules of energy they produced. So in a way, I do love that Death Battle helped introduce me to the world of power scaling. Even though I love that original Death Battle episode, I knew that at the time they severely downplayed Goku, and I don't believe they did him any justice in the rematch either. But over the years of getting even more into power scaling and discovering new series like My Hero Academia and Black Clover, I immediately knew that one day, Death Battle would do a matchup between Asta and Deku. It was just too perfect.
Yeah,
so I even did my own Death Battle. And
why Asta would one-shot Deku, Black Clover... Oh, Jesus. One-shot! At least... Not... Okay, to be fair, now we know where this guy's bias is. They're clearly biased towards Asta, but let's... Alright, let me say something. Much like documentaries, much like anything else in life, here is my firm belief. It's okay to be biased. It's okay to kind of be an asshole. It's okay to be obsessively in love with the things that you like. There's nothing wrong with that. What is wrong is presenting yourself as objective fact, right? And then, like, not being even-handed with it. It's like the same reason why you hate people that are, like, Bible thumpers, where they fucking hit you over the head with it. When it's like, even if, like, shit was, like, real, true, or whatever, you don't need to go that hard into it. You just need to present an even-handed case, which you can easily fucking do for any given topic. So, like, I don't care if somebody is a Bible thumper or if somebody's, like, a zealot about a topic, as long as they, like, can discuss and, like, can bring it up. Saying that Asta would one-shot Deku, that's a strong fucking clickbaity title that I sure as hell need to copy because god damn it do I want more views. I would love me some more views, to be completely real with you. To be completely real with everyone at home, I would love me some more views. But, like, you can't just do that. So, like, I hope it's just clickbait and, like, he actually, like, gives an even-handed response.
Analysis on this battle nearly 4 years ago. And now, Death Battle has finally done their own rendition of this matchup.
Yeah.
Honestly, I never thought that they would gauge Asta's power well. But I'd always expected for them to at least create one of the most hyped fights I've ever seen in their animation for the fight. Seeing two of my favorite characters in fiction fight just sounds like a wondrous experience.
How could you not like that? Yeah.
Unfortunately, not only did Death Battle, in my opinion, analyze Asta's power level absolutely horrendously, I mean very, very, very bad, but also there were numerous other errors, and the fight really wasn't that great.
The fight good, it was just not good narratively. Fair.
Because it was inconsistent with Asta as a character, as they reduced him to a dumb brute with no tactics.
You just gotta hit him really hard.
Bruh. Yeah.
So I want to go over Death Battle's newest episode, Asta vs. Deku, and focus on what they got wrong about Asta. Now, I do want to talk about what they got wrong with Deku as well, but I'll need to make that its own video, so look out for that one in the near future.
Fair.
Now, before anyone comments, they had Asta beat Deku, and I agree with that outcome of the death battle. Asta should defeat Deku in a fight, but just because they were correct on the outcome of the fight doesn't mean anything when it comes to their analysis.
Well, saying that they wanted him to lose is funny, because it's kind of like, I feel like Death Battle do be picking favorites in terms of anime, in terms of popularity. They want the more popular, less toxic fandom to win, sometimes. I can't say all the time, but just sometimes.
This is like that time in high school when you copied someone's answer during a test, but you didn't get the full score for getting it right, because you never showed your work. Or rather, you pretended to show your work to make it look like you tried, but the teacher was smart enough to root that out.
Not saying Death Battle copied anything, just an imperfect analogy.
I'm going to get into how egregiously bad the scaling was for Asta, and it all starts with the basis of their scaling for him, as it starts with an objectively wrong argument, where all one would need to see to know that it was a terrible argument would to be just simply read the manga.
Even characters earlier in the series like Vitoli had magic capable of completely vaporizing the entire Clover Kingdom in a single attack.
Now, I'm at least glad that Death Battle actually agreed that Asta actually has attack potency relative to the magic that he destroys.
That's smart that he has attack. I don't understand what the fuck that means because I'm not a power scaler, but yeah, that makes sense. If he can destroy the magic, he's probably stronger than the caster, or what's casting it, in terms of like the ability to negate it. I would assume to negate something you have to have, it's not always just magic or no bullshit or some shit.
While Asta uses anti-magic, it isn't an automatic counter. It needs to be comparable in strength to the spell it's combating.
Well, they didn't provide a reasoning for that or example, they just said that he did it. So I'll do that for them. Zagred, the word devil, has word soul magic that allows him to manipulate reality with his words. He can create spells that are both magical and physical, meaning they don't have mana in the spells. We saw this when he made Storm of Blades and created swords that were physical. He also binded Licht with physical objects.
That's actually really fucking cool. I wish I read the Black Clover manga because it seems kind of interesting.
But he also has this trident, which is made of the same material as the other physical weapons, and it's strong enough to cut off Lumiere's arm. Yet, Asta destroys this trident, proving that his power against non-magical entities or objects is relative to what he can do against magic.
But Tony's spell was going to be strong enough to vaporize a country the size of the Clover Kingdom.
We can use this map from the manga to estimate the size of Clover Kingdom to be about 500 kilometers in diameter, about half the length of Great Britain. Vaporizing a country of that size would require an energy of...
This is the max for both feats using time frame for Deku's cloud split and vaporization of Clover Kingdom's destruction. More conservative estimates would still result in
over 480 teratons of TNT.
What?
So they say that Patri was going to vaporize the Clover Kingdom, which equates to 488 teratons of TNT, which is large country level. Please, Death Battle, show the receipts. This is a massive assumption and an objectively incorrect one. See, Patri never stated that he was going to destroy the Clover Kingdom. If Death Battle cared to read the fight to the very end, they would have seen this wasn't some massive energy ball that was meant to destroy the Clover Kingdom. It was a mass of light that emitted swords. One sword for every Clover citizen.
Oh, Jesus Christ. That is a cool-ass power, by the way, but Jesus Christ.
When Julius reverts the spell, even Patri says that Julius saved the population, not the actual land of the country. And narratively, it would make no sense for Patri to destroy the Clover Kingdom. Patri is an elf. The Clover Kingdom is his old home that he's trying to take back from the humans. So this cannot be taken seriously as a credible feat, especially since on top of Death Battle, assuming that Patri...
He's going way into this with showing his work, doing the attack power analysis. It's very, very smart, very intelligent. I will say, I don't understand a lick of what the fuck's going on. I just wanted to watch this because I thought it'd be an interesting video.
Was not only going to destroy the Clover Kingdom, but that he was going to vaporize it. Vaporization is one of the higher end forms of destruction. Typically when destruction feats are used, and you don't exactly know what's going to happen, pulverization is the baseline, unless if there is evidence for vaporization, which there is none, since Patri was not going to destroy the Clover Kingdom. Just kill all the people inside of it with individual swords. But it's weird that Death Battle decides to make up a fake feat instead of just going with a blatant one. They somehow miss out on a blatant statement that implies a very impressive feat. That is Demon Licht's feat, where it was implied by the first Wizard King that it was going to destroy the Clover Kingdom. This has been calculated with the assumption of pulverization, not vaporization, and has come out to be 1.3 teratons or small country level. Now this is a very low end result of the feat, and it's not the most logically supported. The higher versions of the feat make more sense both logically and narratively. As the narrator did say, the demon lick was actually going to wipe out humanity.
Came close to being decimated by the demons. Oh, God. But just one mage saved humanity.
And that Lumiere prevented that attack and saved humankind. For a while, we really only had information on the Clover continent, which featured a large neutral zone and 3 other kingdoms, extending humanity to the continent. And that would upgrade the feat for Demon Lick to be over 200 teratons, or large country level. But with recent developments in the manga, as well as the new metas have provided, this still isn't the most accurate interpretation of the feat, as we know that far away from the Clover continent is the Land of the Sun, which is literally just fantasy Japan. I mean, look at the landmass. Which means we can gauge that the Clover world is at the very least comparable in size to our Earth, or at least should be assumed to be as a bare minimum. Not only that, but an entire people live at the bottom of the ocean in the Seabed Temple. In order to have the energy to not only create a blast that kills everyone across the surface of the Earth, as well as to destroy the ocean that protects the Seabed Temple and then kill the people in there, that would put Demon Lick very high up into the multi-continental levels of power. This is supported by the fact that the Salamander has...
I feel like if I got into power scaling, it wouldn't work out well because I wouldn't be able to do numbers. I'd go based off vibes alone. I'd be like, vibe-wise, Goku solos fucking Superman. Like, for no... it doesn't even make sense. I'm just like, nah, Goku solos. Adam Sandler solos everyone in universe. He's a hyperversal being, Adam Sandler.
2 multi-continental feats in the data book, which they did mention this as a footnote in the video, but it's weird that they didn't use that as the basis, as it provides an objective, measurable fact of the Black Clover lore, rather than misconstruing Patri's quote-unquote feat. Anyways, that feat is evaporating an ocean.
They probably picked that one because it was the coolest one to show on a cohesive timeline. That's just realistically, that's probably why they picked it. Like, because why else would you pick something if you weren't gonna do that? Like, it's literally just taking a feat and being like, oh, this is much more interesting if I say it this way, and they probably just did that.
Ocean with the Swingwood's claws, which is calculated to be low-end multi-continental, or 11 petatons of force, as well as burning 1,000 Ri with a sigh. 1 Ri is nearly 4 kilometers, so that's nearly 4,000 kilometers of fire.
This is just so... You're doing a lot of fucking math here, my guy. And I respect you for it. Okay.
This is also multi-continental level, and at a high end is 20 exatons, which is actually near moon level, giving a multi-continental range of power from 11 petatons to 20 exatons for the Fire Spirit Salamander. Now, people often neglect this scaling because it's just lore from the Black Clover databook. People seem to forget, though, that the databook was made by Yuki Tabata, the Black Clover series creator, who said at the end of the book that he double-checked to make sure everything was correct, which means that he agrees with the lore of the Salamander. And as for people who say that we never see the Salamander dry out an ocean or destroy multiple continents, there is no ocean in the Witch's Forest, and also the level of its destructive capability would be severely limited because the Witch's Forest is a grand magic region that has a mana force field protecting it. Not only that, but the Witch Queen runs her own spell protecting it as well. The Witch Queen was revealed to be stronger than the Salamander by the end of the arc, when Noah left her true power. So that's why the destructive capability of the Salamander is never shown, because there's 2 magical force fields protecting the forest, and one of them is by a character even stronger than the Salamander. So the Fire Spirit Salamander heavily supports Demon Lick also being multi-continental, and another big aspect of this is that Lumiere said even if I block this attack from Demon Lick, the Clover Kingdom will be destroyed. That's what he's implied to say. Which means that even if he blocked it, that a small portion of the energy would still destroy the Clover Kingdom. So that really heavily supports the multi-continental Demon Lick if a small...
You know what I think is interesting about power scaling is that it forces us to come back into the real world for something, when in reality it's like, this just isn't in the real world. Like, for all I know, all these people are like, not a foot tall, but like scale-wise, the world's much smaller. And so it takes a lot less force, or these are just not things that are of importance. This is also a world where mana exists. So, like, it could be... I'm not even saying that to, like, give Death Battle the benefit of the doubt or anything, or just anything like that. I'm saying it more like, in terms of power scaling and the way that power scaling works, doesn't it kind of make more sense if it's just kind of there? Like, you're quantifying it in a real-world scenario, and you're using our world as scale. When it's like, I guess like you're creating a fictionalized and fantasized world. Why use our world to scale? Like it. Is it like if you brought these characters into our world, this is the feats they'd be doing? Because it's like ASTA also be doing like 5,000 fucking push-ups every single day, and that alone, show me somebody who does 5,000 push-ups daily, and I will show you a liar. Not saying that it's impossible. I just mean as in like doing 5,000 push-ups it's a fuck ton of work. 500, sure, but like 5,000, probably not.
All portion of his attack
That's like hours.
was going to destroy the Clover Kingdom. That it's so strong that even if the Wizard King blocked it, it would still destroy the Clover Kingdom. So yeah, Demon Licht is superior to the Salamander to a considerable degree, and Asta scales way above both of them. As Asta one-shot Spirit Ledros, a character who absorbed and surpassed the Spirit, and Asta pretty easy defeated a ancient demon who was way stronger than Demon Licht. But what I found very weird is that they didn't really pay attention to any sort of scaling from the later parts of Black Clover. It's almost like they overlooked it on purpose to make the fight closer between these characters. As this pottery feat takes place around chapter 144 of the Black Clover manga, there are way better feats later on and way better scaling. It's weird that they didn't use any other feats from later on in the series, despite their own rules stating that they will be using these characters at their maximum potential. Like, Black Clover is at least planetary right now, guys, which is like many, many thousands of times stronger than what they scaled him to in the video. The reason for Asta being planetary is due in part to him scaling considerably above characters like Demon Licht, who's already near moon level because he scales above the Salamander, who is scaled to near moon level at 20 exatons, as well as scaling above characters like Dorothy and Reeve, who can create moons. But this is really supported by these several statements that put Lucifero, the King of Devils, at planetary levels of power. 2 statements in the manga that say this: the world would be finished if he is manifested, and then there is supplementary material that states that Lucifero would have destroyed the world after fighting Asta, even though he was only at half of his manifested power. If Lucifero has 3 planetary statements and scales well above characters who are moon level, then he's planetary, logically. And Lucifero isn't even close to the strongest villain anymore. Lucius absorbed 100% of Lucifero's power into his base form, and Asta was able to fight him in his partial union after the 15-month time skip, and he forced Lucius to transform into his paladin state. This means that partial union Asta is over 4 times stronger than 50% Lucifero, putting him at over 4 times planetary. And now Asta has Zetten.
I guess I just need to read the Black Clover manga if he's doing all this dope shit now with demons and devils and shit. Last thing I remembered, he's on trial. He's on trial for devils and shit. Actually, the last thing I saw was Yami was kidnapped by that one dude after they did the dual attack, which was awesome.
A technique
Just saying.
the death battle conveniently forgot to mention, but I'll get back to that later in the video. Zetten increases Asta's power by 10 to 100 times when he uses it, this making him 40 to 400 times planetary, and thus putting him at large planetary when he uses partial union and Zetten, which could be doubled in power yet again if he just simply paired the stronger regular devil union with Zetten. So that's how poorly...
When you have characters this strong, what do? Like, from a writing standpoint, if you write a character this strong, you have to give them a new thing. Like, when he walks around, there'd be fucking earthquakes if if he stomped his foot and he has that much kinetic potential, shouldn't that mean that he can... Like, he's like... It's kind of like the Superman World of Cardboard monologue, where it's like, when you're that strong, every step you take needs to be measured, right? Like, you can't let loose. You can't have, like... Am I wrong here? Like, at what point is your character so strong that every step they take is fucked? Honestly, I'd like to write a comic about that, where someone just, like, starts real weak, they get strong, and they get stronger, and at a point, they become a planetary threat. They're not allowed on Earth anymore. They can't walk. They have to fly everywhere. It's like, why do you fly everywhere? It's like, because if I walk, I'd cause earthquakes. That'd be cool. It's like, well, just take us, like, you know, they have to have better control of their strength. It's like, if you're talking Yoda fucking tons of TNT in destructive power by throwing a punch, by throwing a move, by giving it your all, then 1% of a Yoda ton is still a fuck ton, alright? That's a 0.00001%. I want you to try to do 0.00001% of anything. You won't be able to.
They lowballed Asta, just stopped it at large country level and then said, oh, but he's stronger. But they were also extremely lazy with his speed, and their argument was rather unconvincing. I do want to mention that in Black Clover, speed and power are very causally linked. When magic power is doubled, strength and speed is doubled. We see this with Zora's traps, where he doubles the magic, and it doubles the power, and then it also doubles the speed. Also, Magna had his magic power equated to Dante, and that made him equal in pretty much every single stat, like speed, attack potency, durability. He was equal. So it shows that when your power increases in Black Clover, your speed increases too. And their argument was that essentially is that base Asta and base Deku have comparable speed because they both have dodge light or scale to people that do that. The first issue was they didn't use any of the convincing arguments for Asta. They just used him sneezing to dodge Gauche's light. But they didn't even use him fighting Patri, who has 3 statements where it blatantly says that he's light speed. And they didn't even attempt to use any further calculations or multipliers to determine a true number of Asta's speed. Well, they said that he's faster than light. Yeah. The issue with comparing their speed and saying that their base speeds are comparable is pretty terrible. The logic is just not there. The reasoning for this is they said that Shigaraki could dodge lasers, and they said that Asta could dodge lasers. The issue with this logic is that Shigaraki had to put effort into dodging these lasers. Asta did it in his sleep. But also, the other issue is that Shigaraki is dodging these lasers in the ranges of the chapters of the 330s in My Hero Academia. So towards the end of the series, whereas Asta's doing it here in the 40s ranges of chapters. So the very beginning of the series. And Asta grows in power and speed considerably faster than Deku does. Consider this. Asta gets his initial black form, which is a massive increase in speed and power, as base Asta was nearly getting blitzed by Spirit Ladros. And then, calculations here showed that Black Asta outsped Spirit Ladros many times when he was in his black form. But just days later in the manga, Asta's base power and speed surpasses black form power and speed. As in the Grand Magic region, Mario Leona showed considerably superior speed to Black Asta, but days later, base Asta blitzes past her spells to save Raya. And this is just a hint of what Asta does to get faster. There's even a moment where in a single fight, Asta gets 60 times stronger, and then again surpasses that by a considerable margin when he gets back up in the fight.
This is the last fight I saw. This one on screen currently. Interesting. Okay. So it's like he blitzes past, gotcha. I just want to know what you would do different at this point. Like, if he's this much stronger, then yeah, they just did the fight for entertainment purposes. And like, I've said it before, I don't care if they do a fight for entertainment purposes. It's entertainment. Like, yeah, they're probably going to have to pull somebody back or do something. It's like when Superman and the Flash do a race for charity. And it's like, well, Superman beat the Flash. It's like, yeah, because the Flash was jogging. Like, no fucking shit. You want Superman to win that run because more people donate to the cause. Who cares?
When Asta fights Dante, the Spade Devil host is able to toy with Black Form 2, Black Divider Asta, while in his base power. He then would eventually go up to 60% of his devil power. Now we know that even just 1% of the Dark Triad's devil power is stronger than their base power, as the Dark Triad are all stated to be the same power. Okay. And when Vanica went from 50% power to 51% power, it was considered to be a phenomenal increase. And when Dante has his power cut in half, he reverted from 100% devil power to 50% devil power form. This means that devil power works linearly, which also means that 60% Dante is then 60 times stronger and 60 times faster than 1%.
So every percentage is a multiplier, so that wouldn't be a percentage. So if you're 100% devil, you're 1,000 times stronger than that. Maybe I'm not understanding what you're saying, because it's not tracking in my head. Because every percentage is times 1 more, which would technically be 100% increase per percentage point up. That logically doesn't track from a statistic standpoint.
Dante, and 1% Dante is stronger than base Dante. Remember that, because base Dante was toying with Asta. Yet Berserk Asta, which is his 3-horned black form, fares better against 60% Dante than he did against base Dante, meaning that Asta got over 60 times stronger and faster here. There are many more power and speed boosts in the series that he displays, but going over all of them will make this video way too long. Don't worry though, once My Hero Academia is done, I will be doing my own Deku vs. Asta video, as I want to give Deku everything that he has, as he will likely be getting more power boosts before the series ends. Anyways, yeah, there was no basis for saying that Asta and Deku were comparable in speed and their base forms. But let's get into abilities now for Asta. We'll finish up with the abilities before going into the actual narrative of the death battle, which I also thought was done very poorly. But they actually left out a bunch of Asta's repertoire. The weirdest one to me was True Devil Union, because this is his true, strongest form. It is considerably stronger than Devil Union. Asta went from struggling against Lucifero, despite help from Yuno, Noct, and Yami, to kinda beating the shit out of Lucifero by himself. All because of True Devil Union.
Okay.
And this isn't anything new.
It's like hard for me to like provide commentary over this, because I'm like, all right, cool. I don't really know. I'm just interested in seeing what they didn't cover. Like, I like seeing what they didn't. It's kind of like seeing like everything wrong with video, where it's like it's fun to see what they missed, but it's like in terms of commentary, it's like there's not much I could really say. I mean, I could add to the fact that like I'm not a fanboy of either show. I like both shows. Honestly, like this is just interesting. I had no idea that Asta scaled to this power. Like last thing I saw was the one fight, and that's it. And they might have released season 3, but I don't think they did yet. Well, not season 3, whatever the fuck you would call it. I don't think they released it though.
This isn't something they could have missed because they didn't have enough time to put it in. True Devil Union was revealed nearly a year ago in the manga, yet they bring Deku affecting reality with his new ability that was revealed a month ago in My Academia. So kind of a weird thing to not discuss. One of the weird things they missed is Asta's ability to mimic the techniques of others and add them to his toolset.
How did he do
did
that?
this with Ki pretty quickly with Yami. He did this with Kyoto when he learned the dancing sword fighting ability to make sensory abilities lesser. He even copied Lick's sword techniques as well as Yuno's Zephyr to forge his own Black Divider. And they didn't even mention Asta's Infinity Slash, which is a technique mimicry of Yami's Dimension Slash that cuts apart space and can destroy infinite-sized universes. And this anti-magic attack here also works on physical objects, as it cuts this area in Noct's room. Pretty much like most anti-magic attacks do anyways, but it's just not as effective against physical objects as it is against magic, but it's still effective. And they also completely neglected the fact that the Demon Destroyer sword allows soul manipulation for Asta. When Asta used it against Patri, it swarmed the both of them with anti-magic and allowed for them to enter Patri's soul space, where he bullied Patri's soul and used that to revert his Dark Elf form back into his normal elf form. This could have been useful, not only for the fact that Asta could have likely used this to effect One for All, swarming Deku with anti-magic, breaking into his soul space to meet with the other vestiges, but there was another very powerful technique that was introduced around the time of Deku's breaking reality feat, and that was Zetten. Zetten uses Ki to augment magic power or anti-magic power, and Asta can use this to increase his power by 10 to 100 times. I mentioned it a bit earlier, but Asta was using Zetten before Deku did the reality thing, and got even better at it shortly after. So one of the things that needs to be corrected also for Death Battle is they said that Asta is basically powerless after his Devil Union is over. This is very jarring to see because what happened in the animation is that Asta essentially lost the clash and got knocked out of Devil Union, and then still won the fight. Now, I watched a lot of reactions to the Death Battle to see what people thought about it.
Damn it, my face isn't up there.
They're like, what? Asta's supposed to be powerless after his Devil Union runs out, because that's what Death Battle had just said right before the fight.
I wasn't paying attention to that.
Hell yeah, he got the fucked up arm. He doesn't have any powers anymore, right? Oh, wait, no! Ah, you son of a bitch. God damn it. Oh, shit.
This actually is not the truth in Black Clover for Asta. So, sure, when he runs out of Devil Union, he can't go back to Devil Union or even his regular black form for 30 minutes. But, I mean, his body's strained, but he's still very strong and he recovers very quickly. I mean, here are multiple different times where Asta ran out of Devil Union time and he's in his base and he's still pretty strong. Like, in this example, he is able to move within Magicula's decaying world. This is a Supreme Devil. And then Asta barges in, tanks an explosion from Devil Lolapechka, who is like a Supreme Devil level fighter. And this is all Asta in his base after he ran out of Devil Union. And also, after Asta ran out of Devil Union, he's able to walk in Lucifero's gravity. This is the same gravity that the captains of the Clover Kingdom couldn't even walk in without being amped by a special spell. So no, Asta's not essentially powerless. He's just limited to his base power once he runs out of Devil Union.
Which is
again
still pretty high.
It seems like Death Battle didn't want to delve into Asta's full power set because it was already too much of a stomp.
It's a GG no re. That's basic. We're at the point where there's a GG no re on the board, and when there's what are you gonna do with a GG no re? It's a fucking good game, no rematch. Yeah, I get it. That's where we are. You could have said the strength thing, fine. Deku might be not. Yeah, Deku might be a smarter character, but I just
that
don't see
doesn't
it.
do him or Black Clover any justice. Which is why I think this feels like Death Battle just wanted Deku to win, but they knew they couldn't do that, so they had to make it as close as they possibly could. So today's video is sponsored by me and you,
Fair.
and that is the members of this channel.
I respect you for doing a shameless plug. Everyone, check out BROKU.
But I want to tell you guys that
BROKU seems like a nice dude.
Captain member, you'll get.
Listen, I should probably do this. I should probably learn how to do this and get better at this at my own content, like exclusive reactions, things like that. You getting the ability to choose and shape the content how you want. This would be a great time for me to start doing that. We're close, though. Gonna be real. We're real close. We're just not that size yet.
Wizard King level members, $8 to the Wizard King
Jesus
round
Christ.
table, and you'll remember the videos for all members this week is my video defending Nox Null. So for all Wizard King members is pretty much it for power
Okay, so we back?
versus Magicula
Sure.
versus battle. Now that's
Perfect.
pretty much it for power scaling. I want to talk about the numerous other errors and inconsistencies that Death Battle mentioned within the presentation of the show. I do give credit to the hosts. I think that for most people, their comedy would hit, and I did laugh a few times of what some of the jokes they said. They have
Yeah, of
good
course.
voices and they give a good presentation. They really had to make a joke about Asta wanting to become the Wizard King and comparing that to One Piece's Luffy wanting to become.
But they don't complain when My Hero references Spider-Man or the Marvel. Well, to be fair, isn't Asta not Asta? Isn't what's his face based on fucking Spider-Man? Like, doesn't the main author of My Hero love Spider-Man, which is kind of why I love Deku in general, because I love Spider-Man. Spider-Man's my favorite hero, as everyone knows.
Become the Pirate King, which is not funny for one, but it really shows that it's possible that they have a negative view of Black Clover, as it seems to have leaked into their animation style. As in the fight, Asta wields 3 swords at once, Zoro style. Even though this is something that he's literally never done in the series. Sure, Asta has put a
True.
sword in his mouth before, but that was only because his arms were cursed to be broken and he couldn't use them. Since then, he doesn't put a sword in his mouth, and he's never done the Zoro 3-sword style. So it just
True.
felt weird to have Asta doing that in the animation. In this
Now, I didn't notice that because I don't pay attention to those types of things when I probably should. This is, like I said, this is a brain. Normally at Death Battles, I turn my brain off and I just enjoy the spectacle. I learn, I think about who I think is going to win. And then it's a gamble of whether or not I'm right or wrong.
segues into my viewpoint of the animated fight. It was good. I actually really like the quality of it. I love the sprites. I think that anybody who actually made the fight, like the artists involved, and even the music as well, I thought it was an amazing fight, like, just to be honest. But it didn't feel like Asta was actually fighting Deku. It felt
Yeah.
like a fan fiction character dressed up as Asta fighting Deku. Because they
Respect.
made Asta out to be dumb as well, on top of the whole Zoro thing.
Fair, a biased
Which
narrative. Yep.
maybe he is misinformed as a person, but that's largely because he lived in a highly classist society and he was a peasant with a poor education. But as a fighter, he's not dumb.
Just gotta hit him really hard.
In one of the biggest fights, when Asta fights the Devil's Red,
Mhm.
it isn't, oh, I need to hit him really hard. It wasn't about pure raw power. It was about him learning to control the chaotic power he wielded and refining that power into a blade of anti-magic around the
Which is
Dole
dope.
Demon Slayer. So to say that Asta's going to hit him pretty hard, it's dumb, and it makes him out to be dumb when it's not in his character. He's found many clever ways to
Bacasta.
overcome his obstacles
Stop calling Asta Bacasta or no.
before. When he was trapped by the Heart Queen's water spirit, instead of just hitting it hard, he's like, oh, if I just lessen the amount of anti-magic power I have, which is the opposite of hitting him hard, then I will be in more control of my power. So, didn't really like that aspect of the battle because it made Asta
Yeah.
seem stupid
Fair.
when he's not. Also, in the fight, it takes Asta a lot of time to figure out that Deku wasn't using magic. Again, is inconsistent with Black Clover. Against Segred, Asta immediately discovers that he was creating non-magical objects. So, in a fight with Deku, he would immediately discover that Deku was using non-magical objects
That
or
makes sense.
abilities.
Yeah.
And while I get the narrative of the fight isn't exactly in line with the scaling, but the host did say that anti-magic would be useless against Deku's quirk, which it's not true. they would still cut Black Whip easily, just like the Slasher can cut physical things. Just like
Yeah.
Black Divider could cut a trident that could wound the multi-continental Wizard King. Asta's anti-magic slashes can cut through walls, and even the pure anti-magic end of the elongated Black Divider cut a village-sized fortress in half.
You know, funny man, you're using a lot of big words, and I respect you for using them. I don't get it. I do get it. You're saying Asta's, like, obviously Asta would have won, but you're giving him more clarification of why Asta would have won. I honestly thought it'd be more interesting to, like, break down the narrative and maybe see, like, some scaling feats that they did. I think in terms of just giving Asta a more fair shot, this took 27 minutes. Death battles are 20 minutes. They're in that sweet spot of, like, just the right amount of time for people to watch it, sit down and eat their lunch, and then maybe, like, do something else. So, like, that's what they're trying to be. You spent 30 minutes explaining all of this shit. And I'm not saying that to be rude. I'm saying, like, your death battle was 11 minutes long, totally fair from a power scaling standpoint. It's just more of, like, it took you a very long time to get to this point, and you haven't even done Deku. So if you're going to do Deku and their power scaling, like, realistically, to make it fair for them, how long is that going to take, and is it still going to be an entertaining thing? I'm not saying this to say anyone's wrong. I'm saying this just from a standpoint of just being an entertainer. Like, okay, you've done this. Great. Now what?
So, again, Death Battle, why would anti-magic be useless to quirks? It's not useless to quirks. It's less effective to quirks than magic, but it would still be effective against quirks because it is an energy. Another error is that they say the Asta's sword were made specifically to cut or negate magic, which isn't really the case. They were originally licked swords. The magic negation thing is all because of Liba's anti-magic that transferred from the grimoire into the sword and then into Asta.
Makes sense.
Licht had the attribute of sword magic, and these swords were either made by him or created for him. We don't know that yet, but they were not made to counter magic. That is what anti-magic does. The anti-magic just channels into these swords. I also find it a little weird that they basically admitted that, Asta had the advantage pretty clearly in this fight, but in the actual animation, Deku is like cheesing Asta. Like, for one, it's partially because they make Asta look stupid, but you have basically Deku the advantage the entire time. He's also keeping in line with Devil Union Asta for a while, and once Deku starts to flounder a bit, he goes full power and he actually overpowers Devil Union Asta. So it's like it wasn't even consistent with their scaling, which is fine. But it's just like presentation-wise, they could have done it a lot better. You could still have Asta be way stronger than Deku, or make a way better fight out of it, a more consistent fight, like they've done many times before. There's been many mismatches on Death Battle, but they still make a fight that's better than this, in my opinion. Now, my really big complaint is that this didn't feel like a Death Battle. It felt like a character bio summary with a hint of power scaling. Me and many other people think that there was too much summarization of Asta and Deku's story and not enough analysis. This video is 19 minutes long without the sponsorships. I think they should have cut 1 minute of story summary from each character and shift that into the power scaling. Also, I think that this video would have benefited from a simple 2 to 3 minutes of extra time, mainly for the analysis.
They probably could not. They probably didn't have the budget to be able to do that, because they're probably making these seasons way in advance, I'd assume, like, to do the research, to do the writing, to do the scripting. Like, you look at that team, and that's a sizable team. Like, you're gonna need more than just a couple of people, and production time probably takes at least, they release every 2 weeks, it probably takes them like a month. The animators working fucking nail-biting paces. Not nail-biting, speed paces. I can't think of words. I'm sorry.
It just felt so rushed and vague. Basically, everything was vague. They would say things without even really substantiating them. A 22 to 23 minute episode, while cutting some of the story summary, could have severely helped this episode out, in my opinion. At the end of the day, I still enjoy Death Battle as a series, and it is just two fictional characters fighting each other, but Death Battle has a lot of resources. It just really boggles my mind that they couldn't represent a series like Black Clover that is decently popular. It's not hard to find information on. It has less than 350 chapters, which sounds like a lot, but the average person can read.
Hey, they read my entire, they released chapter 343 on my birthday. Nice. I turned 23 that day.
It has less than 350 chapters, which sounds like a lot, but the average person can read 15 to 20 chapters per hour of manga. And there is not a lot of supplementary material of Black Clover for people to delve into either. 4 short light novels, 1 data book, a few other data pages, maybe like 30 episodes in the anime that's not in the manga, but still canon to the manga, would not have been that hard to do
Fair.
full, proper research to make a lot more of a power scale for Asta. Still, I credit
respect
the
it.
episode for being entertaining, great music, really good animation and art. The sprites I really, really enjoyed. The hosts were good, and it was funny, but, as I said, the information was just not up to par at all for the
With it.
type of resources that Death Battle has, in my opinion. With that
Gotcha.
being said, that is my thoughts on Death Battle. I think they wanted Deku to win. They wanted Asta to lose. And so they basically downplayed Asta, didn't give him his full moveset at all, and just kind of gave it to him.
Anti-magic was never overpowered. Interesting video. Consider watching it, to be fair. Either
But
way,
they tried to make it as close as they possibly could, like I said. And then also just the weird thing of them making up feats for Patri. It was really, really, really weird. I hope you guys did enjoy the video. Please leave a like and subscribe. Follow me on Twitter here. Join my Discord here. Peace out.
odd. You went down to the wire. Either way, just like you said, if you don't mind, just like, comment, share, subscribe, post every single day. Question of the day is, what death battle do you want to see? Are you interested in power scaling? What's going on? Peace out. Have a good one. Hope you all can enjoy your week.